The SolarCity deal clears a major hurdle. The P100D is a warm-up for the Model 3 battery tech, and a popular accessory returns from the dead. Here are your Tesla tidbits for August 25th, 2016. Teslarati reports that the U.S. Federal Trade Commission has approved the proposed acquisition of SolarCity by Tesla. The deal appeared on a list of FTC proposed transactions that were granted early termination from the government, seemingly ahead of schedule. However, the largest hurdle is yet to come, as the deal still needs approval from the shareholders of both companies. Today's news saw the stocks were down slightly for the day at the closing bell. In a piece that gives some more color to the P100D announcement on Tuesday, Electrek goes into detail on how important the new third-generation pack is as it relates to Model 3. While we already know that the Model 3 will utilize new battery cells produced at the Gigafactory, the other half of the equation is the pack that they will sit in. Elon tried to explain it in the Q&A on Tuesday thusly, quote, "People often think that a battery and a battery pack is the same thing, but the technical complexity once you get to do a large number of cells in a pack is very much on the module pack level. You can think of the cell level as being a chemical engineering problem, and the module pack level as being a mechanical, electrical, and software engineering problem," end quote. He then elaborated on the changes made in the P100D pack, quote, "The cell is the same, but the module and pack architecture is changed significantly in order to achieve the adequate cooling of the cells in a more energy-dense pack, and to make sure that we don't have cell-to-cell combustion propagation," end quote. So in short, without changing the cell at all, Tesla managed an 11% bump in energy density out of the existing battery technology. The article reports that the pack's weight increased by only 4% in eking the performance out of it. J.B. Straubel, Tesla CTO, also commented on the pack during the Q&A, saying, quote, "It's a pretty big change on the battery module and pack technology. It's a complete redo of the cooling system, which is quite unique to Tesla, and that we have been improving on for many years. This new pack is the next version of that," end quote. Later on, Straubel linked the pack to Model 3, saying, quote, "Some of the key improvements that enable the new pack are directly on the roadmap for the technologies that make Model 3 possible," end quote. So here we have the guts of what will be in the Model 3 battery pack already in production, over a year before the car's launch, and this technology enabled a significant gain in pack capacity. Imagine just what this can mean for Model 3 once the new battery cells are loaded in. Model 3 could potentially shatter its initial 215-mile expected base range with the advent of both new technologies. And then lastly, some good news for road warriors that may not necessarily find a stop near a supercharger or destination charger. Tesla has reintroduced its official NEMA 1430 adapter for the mobile connector on the online store. This had been an offering in the past, but much to the dismay of many, was discontinued presumably due to lack of demand. For those unfamiliar, the NEMA 1430 outlet is the outlet you generally see an electric dryer connected to. This makes faster charging a possibility when staying out of town with friends or relatives that don't have the heftier NEMA 1450 outlet that Tesla recommends owners install. The 1430 variety will allow the car to regain about 15 to 17 miles of range per hour of charge, a far cry from the 3 miles per hour of charge offered by a standard NEMA 515 outlet, or the 4 miles on a newer NEMA 520 outlet. You can find links to the full stories from today's show in the show description. If you get some value out of the show, please consider supporting the podcast at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. Thanks as usual to my super patron John Waltauer for his support. If you have something to buy from Amazon, please consider using the Amazon link in the show description to access the site. It'll cost you nothing extra, and they'll kick a little something to the show for your trouble. But if you don't want to spend anything, I've got you covered there too. You can still show support for the show through positive reviews, likes, and subscriptions on services like YouTube, iTunes, and Google Play, and by simply spreading word of the show to other Tesla lovers. If you have questions or feedback for me, you can reach me via email by messaging podcast@teslatidbits.com or on Twitter @TeslaTidbits. That's it for today. I'll see you back here again tomorrow. Until then, keep it charged and hit the road.